It's not about tonight. It's not about Jurgen Klinsmann. It's not just about Bruce Arena. As a whole, U.S. soccer is not prepared. They have not done a good enough job of getting this group ready to play. And keep in mind, the last 2 Olympics, no United States.
The United States, for a 3rd straight cycle, Hercules is not going to the Olympic Games after they fell 2-1 to Honduras in CONCACAF Olympic qualifying in the semifinals. Straight up, Herc, it's the 3rd straight cycle this has happened. How did we get back here again? Is it just that American players aren't good enough to qualify for the Olympics out of CONCACAF?
Those players that would be playing in the Olympics, 24 through 28, how many of them are in this roster? The players got to be good enough, too. So a lot of people on social media right now want to say it's Jurgen Klinsmann's fault, it's Bruce Arena's fault, it's Sunil Gulati's fault. By the way, as an ex-player, every single one of those players,
they can take some
nightmares for the rest of their lives, because this is an utter embarrassment with the amount of money that is in Major League Soccer and in this sport. You can't get a draw, a tie against Trinidad? Max, you don't deserve to go to the World Cup.
It's a small sample size, and so the skepticism, cynicism, and criticism of this team remains. But Berhalter's done a pretty good job of publicly articulating what he wants this team to do. And at least against Panama, it looked like his players understood what he wants them to do. Agree or disagree, at least so far, he's practicing what he preached.
What a rise. Acosta, header down and in!
Still the same.
To give Greg Berhalter a ton of credit, because he relied on a young group and allowed them to make their own mistakes, to find their own identity, and to not rely on a ton on the generation that missed out on the World Cup in 2018. So while a little bit of this is redemption, the other big part of it, it's a younger generation trying to find themselves, and they found themselves qualifying for their first World Cup, as they are the big generation of this group.
So you could make a case, by the way, if this is Wales that goes through, that this is your group of death. It would be 4 nations inside the top 21 as far as the FIFA rankings are concerned.
Hello there, Robin. We were just minutes away from a huge win, a huge 3 points in our group. Timothy Weah on a great goal set up by Christian Pulisic. But then in the 82nd minute, chaos, catastrophe, Cymru, that's Welsh for Wales. They scored on a penalty kick, and that is how the game staged the top two.
I think the perception is out there that England is far and away a better team than the U.S., and maybe there's some truth to that in certain aspects. It would not surprise me in the least if this particular U.S. team didn't rise to the occasion and would just love the opportunity, as we all would, to beat England and shut them up.
Team USA is packing out bars and restaurants downtown. Our young, scrappy team fought hard against England. Fans at pitch will take the final score of a tie.
A lot of people might be depressed about a tie, but I am not. This actually helps us out a lot. We control our own destiny, I believe.
Even all the stuff off the field seems to be building. There was the issue with Klinsmann and Queiroz the other day, and then the flag issue, and then the crazy press conference and the questions that were asked to Greg and Tyler Adams. So, yeah.
First of all, you say you support the Iranian people, but you're pronouncing our country's name wrong. Our country is named Iran, not Iran. Please, once and for all, let's get this clear. Second of all, Are you okay to be representing a country that has so much discrimination against black people in its own borders?
My apologies on the mispronunciation of your country. Yeah, that being said, you know, there's discrimination everywhere you go. You know, one thing that I've learned, especially from living abroad in the past years and having to fit in different cultures and kind of assimilate into different cultures, is that in the U.S. we're continuing to make progress every single day. Like you just educated me now on the pronunciation of your country. So yeah, it's a process. I think as long as you see progress, that's the most important thing.
So yeah, it seems like whatever they can do to wind this game up a little bit more seems to be happening. But you know, in the end, it's really just, you know, two groups of players who understand that they need to perform on the day to get a result to go through in the World Cup. Yeah, the geopolitical stuff aside, just go perform. And that's what I want from the U.S. team, just to make sure that you have a good group of players in the right mentality who are ready for what's such a big game, and just to make sure that you perform on the day.
2020. USA, that's a big game, man. When I spoke to the coach and the players, I said, you can do this. They went, they did it. God love them. Anyway, just thought you might want to hear.
We have breaking news from the World Cup, where the U.S. has moved on to the second round of the world's largest sporting event.
That's right. The U.S. beat Iran 1-0 to advance to the knockout round. The team.
Big picture, Greg Berhalter, okay? He took over this team and led the team through this cycle, qualified this team, brought this team back to the World Cup after not making it in 2018, and has now gotten them out of the group and has gotten them out of a group undefeated, albeit finishing second behind England. He deserves credit for that, but I don't think he is finished. I don't think we think that this team is finished, and we should not expect this team to be finished in the accomplishment of doing what has been done in the past.
The Dutch entered a tournament with a FIFA world ranking of 8th, U.S. Ranking 16th. While the Netherlands have had a strong tournament so far, the average world ranking of the teams they faced in the group stage was 37th. U.S. a little more battle-tested, as their average opponent ranked in Group B was 14th.
And this is where the men thrive. The way the Netherlands play, and the Dutch get after you, they want to turn you over, they want to possess, they want to get you wide, but now your athleticism, now your pace, now you're on the counter, your best players are put in spots to succeed. It's not as far-fetched as maybe Vegas thinks that the United States could surprise them.
That's key as well. So the Dutch will be improved, I'm sure, for the States. But if you're the States, you're feeling good about yourselves, Craig. And I think that's a pretty good matchup for them.
They've really stepped it up. I mean, you watch them in qualifying, how poor they were, the United States and Mexico, for that matter. They've done a really good job stepping up when it matters. Pulisic has just been fantastic. And we haven't seen that for a long time. And we always wonder whether he could be that lead guy. I mean, he's not that in club football, but he needs to do it for the U.S. And so far.
But us as Americans in all sports, we look at it and say we dominate every sport. The truth of the matter is we do not dominate men's soccer. We may at some points, but right now in 2022, we don't. So to get out of your group at the World Cup, to be one of the best 16 teams in the world, that unequivocally is a success.